So I'm going to do my best to voice note this, but I've also decided that I want to turn this rant into an essay. So this is going to be my first pass at making a template for this. Anyways, so I had an insight the other night that I think is really good. And it is that you can't pay anyone a bigger compliment than to be really quick about approaching them to talk to them after you first become aware that they are in the room. And the reason for this is because you can't give someone a compliment that is louder with your words than is with your actions. And there isn't any that is more complimentary than immediate approaching someone to talk with them. Actually, maybe that's not literally true. Maybe like if you gave someone $1,000 or something, that would be more complimentary. But I think that would fall outside of the realm of normal social interaction. I think that this is literally the biggest compliment you can give someone. And it's specifically about the speed of your reaction. How fast, after you become aware of them, are you deciding to approach them to talk with them, or at least deciding to include them or acknowledge them? But I think generally speaking, you do want to approach and talk with people. Sometimes you can't always, and I don't think I've figured out what exactly are the rules for if you can't approach and talk with somebody. Is there anything else you can do? I think there probably are other things you can do. But after you come to realize this, and I think it is true, I think this is actually something I have been aware of my entire life without actually ever verbalizing it or even hearing anyone else verbalize it. But the more I think about it, the more I think, damn, I think this is true. It's true in a very literal sense. The faster you react and decide to go and talk with someone after you become aware of them, it's like there's a counter in their mind. It's like they might become aware of you before you are aware of them, but as soon as they know that you are aware of them, there's a counter ticking up in their mind or down. And the longer you wait, the more you are saying that they are not a priority. And I think a lot of people are aware of a different reality, which is they are socially awkward and scared and not good at approaching people. And so they might be thinking of it like, and I've even done this before. I've gone into a bar or a public venue and saw someone that I was attracted to and not approach them for like an hour because I hadn't worked up the nerve, if that makes sense. And but I think it's kind of obvious though, and you can tell from how the dynamics change and how their attitude towards you shifts as the time goes on, that you are literally just saying it louder the longer you wait. I don't consider you a priority. It doesn't matter how nervous you are and or how socially awkward you are. If you don't approach immediately, you're just saying, I don't think of you as a priority. And so what this does is it dramatically limits the number of the pool of potentialities, the pool of possibilities that you need to control for in social situations. It also means that you have to be really careful about who you look at and where you put your eyes and attention in social situations. If you look at somebody and they are somebody that you want to talk to, you cannot just look at them and then look away. Like if they become aware that they are there and then you don't go and talk with them, you're essentially giving an indirect insult. Actually, I'm not sure if that's true. If it's necessarily insulting, I think there's probably some things you can do to acknowledge that they're there, etc. If you can't immediately go and talk with them. But it's like if you have the opportunity to go and talk to somebody and you don't go and talk with them, that is an indirect insult. It's just like there is no reason that they know of why you haven't come and talked to them. And so in their eyes, you're just sending a signal that you don't think of them as being that valuable or important. And so it just dramatically limits the number of things that you need to control for. And it's a one point of understanding that dramatically increases your power and control over what happens or what messages you send in a social situation. And also, it just really reduces the number of things that you need to think about in a social situation because there's only so many ways that somebody can react. If you immediately come and talk to them, they can react in a neutral way, they can react in a positive way, they can react in a negative way, but the kinds of reactions are all in the same three categories basically. And you can practice reacting, you can practice knowing what to do in those three categorical situations and just instantly control for 90% of the difficulty in being good with people if you master this one skill. And I don't know, there's probably more to say also on the topic of what to do with your eyes when you are out in public and how to manage looking around or being aware of what's going on without actually offending anybody. And I think I'm going to be thinking a lot more about that and also thinking a lot more about how to talk about how to practice what to do in this social situation. But I'm really excited about it because I feel like I haven't actually tested it yet, but it feels obviously true. The moment that I verbalized it to myself, I was like, oh shit, this is obviously true. I've been feeling this my whole life, and I think everyone else has been too. You go out and you make eye contact with people, and then you make eye contact with them a second time, and you can already feel that they have lost interest in you because you didn't talk to them the first time you make eye contact. And it's like they've lost X amount of interest. And if you make eye contact with them a third time, it's basically like you told them to go fuck themselves. Especially if you're not interested, but if you are interested, that's essentially what you did. You have to, I don't know. So I'm really excited about this. I feel like it's just like, it's a really simple thing to be aware of, but it creates a dramatic amount of control once you have mastered it. And I'm really excited to see what I can build on top of it.